Good morning, Azeroth. Good morning, Azeroth. It is Neall. I'm your friendly warrior tank from Medivh. I help people learn achievements, and this is Good Morning Azeroth for Saturday, July the 2nd, 2016. It's the weekend edition of Good Morning Azeroth, and I'm going to try to recap all the things we talked about this week to bring you the latest news from around World of Warcraft. So, first up, let's go to what we talked about on Monday, which was max camera distance reduction. So in Legion, they are reducing the maximum camera distance that you can have. So there's a couple of ways you can get to max camera distance. If you go through the typical means, you can move your camera pretty far out in game now, but there's actually some macros that'll help you move it out even further. And here on the MMO Champion, they show you the difference. So they're changing how far out you can move your camera. They're increasing how much you can do it in the normal UI and reducing it how far you can move it out in the macro version. So these are sort of before and after photos of what you would see through your camera with the new max camera distance changes. Most of this is being implemented, I guess, for the PvP folks. Obviously, you read the blue post, it talks about most people don't even mess with max camera distance. They just left it the way it was when they joined the game. I play with my game at max camera distance so that I can see a lot of things as a tank. That's helpful. They thought it was would be beneficial to reduce that. So that's one of the changes coming forth in Legion. We talked about that on Monday. On Tuesday, we talked about the Avengers. We talked about Neall joining a random Ashran group because I need to finish some Ashran achievements before Legion. It was pretty bad Ashran group. I went in, we got wiped 3-4 times. On the initial time, the Horde came through, all 40 of them, and wiped the floor with us. I thought immediately about leaving the Ashran group that I was in, but decided to stick it out just to see what would happen. About 20 minutes later, about the time I said maybe I should leave, there was a raid warning that popped up on the screen. Hello, welcome to the Avengers. You are fighting a Horde pre-made. They are using voice chat to gain maximum advantage over you. Join us in Ventrilo, won't you? So I joined them in Vent, and the battleground changed 180 degrees from that point. We grouped up at the base, buffed up, got all our supplies, went out and met the Horde, and wiped. The callouts in Vent were pretty amazing. Never seen a sort of PvP battleground callouts in Vent before. The caller was calling out. Basically, we were attacking his targets, and he was picking the targets for us. We got the 3-4 big targets, and then cleaned out the group. There were no more Horde to kill. So after about 3 or 4 of those encounters, someone said over Vent. Yep, I think I see it. You have just busted the Horde pre-made. It is a walk of shame as the Horde started to leave the battleground. Pretty amazing stuff. So don't be like Neall, don't be like me. Don't try to join an awful Ashran and hope Avengers shows up. You can join an Avengers run by going to wowavengers.shivtr.com. Join one of the Avengers runs, join the Avengers community, and get your Ashran achievements done with the Avengers. Great group of people over there. Friendship Moose, we talked about that on Wednesday. Friendship Moose, if you do not yet have your Moose mount, that is going away in Legion. You have to kill Heroic Archimon, get the quest starter from Heroic Archimon, and go pick up your Moose. Friendship Moose has been giving away free carries to that kill for a long time. They've got Horde and Alliance versions. Go to friendshipmoose.com to figure out how to pick up your Moose. Over 6,000 Mises given away. Over 6,000 Mises given away. Actually, Mooses, whatever. I'm terrible. Thursday and Friday, we talked about the developer Q&A. This week's developer Q&A on Thursday was PvP developer Q&A with Brian Halinka. Last week's developer Q&A was about professions. Both of those were pretty interesting. If you have not seen those videos yet, you can go to Twitch TV youtube.com/warcraft/profile, and both of those are on the video on demand there. Both of them start about 20 minutes in. They have a loading screen for the first 20 minutes or so. PvP this week, they talked about a lot of things, about balance, about changes coming in Legion, about picking up gear, about how things are going to be different in Legion. So you can watch that VOD there. There's some recaps at some different sites that we'll get to in a second. And then the Professions Q&A last week with I forget the guy's name last week. They talked about professions and how they really want you to have a gathering profession and a crafting profession. You're going to get a better chance to pick up Blood of Sargeras if you have a gathering profession in Legion than if you just have a crafting profession. A little more of a chance is what they tried to say, but I think they really want you to have a crafting profession and a gathering profession, not just two crafting professions, which a lot of people went to in Warlords because of the way they gave you the maps in your garrison. So Blood of Sargeras, it's going to be bind on pickup. Gatherers are going to pick that up at a better rate than crafters will. So check those out at Twitch TV. Also check out the rundowns of what each of those talked about if you go to a couple of other sites we'll talk about in a second. At this point, want to make sure we thank our patrons. This show, just like all of Neal's shows, are brought to you by patreon.com, the Neals, patreon.com, the Neals. That's where people are gathering together to help Neal help other people earn more achievements around the World of Warcraft. If Neal has helped you, if this show has helped you, if this YouTube channel has helped you, consider becoming a patron of the Neals, patreon.com. The Neals, there's some cool rewards that go with that, like getting thanked every time Neal does a program. Thanks to our patrons, Regnava, Neal, Zuki, Adafluzi, Tinder, Mulva, Shigan, Morasha, Mystical have all become patrons. So thanks to them. Big shout out to those guys. They are making this possible. News around the World of Warcraft. We'll check out Wowhead first. At the top of their site, they talk about Legion Beta Key Giveaway Week number 8. If you'd like a Legion Beta Key, go over to Wowhead and read that top line. They've got a new Fault Lines comic, a special pre-patch only lore quest, rundown, demon invasion testing, grouping and reset timer changes. So this last thing, the grouping and reset timer changes, I saw a post yesterday about that. Apparently, in fact, we saw this on Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Someone in my guild wanted to pick up Ready for Raiding, where you have to go around and on the Timeless Isle and kill all the cockroaches. So I blasted out to friends and got some people together, and somebody joined us from I think an Oceanic or other server type, region type I should say, and we couldn't see them and they couldn't help us, or we couldn't help them towards that achievement. So with this change coming, I guess with pre-patch, you will be able to group with people from all regions, and you will be able to see them anywhere in the world together. So there'll no longer be this phasing issue of people in different regions. And they have, with that, they have reset the timer. So daily resets, weekly resets will be at 8 o'clock Pacific time, 10 o'clock Central time for me, but 8 o'clock Pacific time every day. Interesting news there. Wowhead has a new site feature, a guide system for user-submitted class information. So if you want to submit some information to Wowhead, they've got some information on how you can do that. They've got their Legion developer Q&A rundown, the Blizzard exclusives coming at the San Diego Comic-Con, Legion raid testing, some road feedback, Titan Forged feedback. So this was another thing with some developer Q&A talking about how random drops from the world, from raids, from dungeons, from PvP could have a small chance to become Titan Forged. There's a developer post on that, and we talked about that a little bit. And then PvP overview, gathering profession guides. Warcraft movie has passed 400 million. There won't be a director's cut on the DVD. That's over there at wowhead.com. Blizzard Watch has some information. Question and answer. They do a Q&A every day. If you want to ask the folks over at Blizzard Watch some questions, send them some questions. They'll answer them in the queue. Breakfast topic, they always so thought-provoking. Are you buying the Warcraft movie? I have actually not seen the movie yet. I do intend to see it at some point. Not sure when that will be. What else? They preview the Hunter class haul. Good information over. They always have a Know Your Lore section, a weekly sort of edition. Know Your Lore, Return of the Silver Hand. Interesting information over at Blizzard Watch. PDQ, the Pawncast Daily Quest. They've got a thing about his Garrosh Hellscream, a friend or foe. I think we should know that by now. Not a good guy, Garrosh. Legion Artifact Weapon. They've got a guide on the trait and the relics used there. They've got a dungeon preview on your Legion dungeons. Zone previews for all the zones in Legion. They've got a sort of Throwback Thursday. They're thinking about that starting zone for Blood Elves. Their Legion developer Q&A. Wetlands Throwback Thursday. They talk about the Facebook streaming that's coming soon. It's in beta on the launcher, the Battle.net launcher. Again, maximum camera zoom reduced. Good information over at the Pawncast Daily Quest site. Warcraft Pet Battles. I'd like to check in with my friend Gemma Banks. This week he's added several guides on some of the pet battles we'll be seeing in Legion, like Amelia, Tiffany Nelson, Splint Jr., and Sir Galveston. Still looking for some feedback on what we're going to do with Halbom out for several current fights, including Stitches in your Garrison and the Celestial Tournament and Tiny Terrors in Tanan. Gemma gave me some suggestions, but looking for some clarification. Gemma, give me some help. Over at MMO Champion, they've Legion developer PvP Q&A. So they, in addition to the video, they've answered some questions in text here. They've copied it onto the MMO Champion site. The grouping and reset timer changes. So again, if you're North American, Latin American, Oceanic, you'll be able to group together in the open world no matter what realm the party or raid members are on. See all groups in Groups Finders regardless of realm. Nice changes. And then this pre-patch, with pre-patch timers are going to be 8 o'clock Pacific time. Doesn't say that exactly here, but that's when that is. This Thursday, the Legion Developer Q&A will be focusing on Legion artifacts and the class order halls. So I'm talking about that. So a lot of good class information as well. New webcomic, a lot of good stuff over at MMO Champion. Icy Veins, just noticed this today, the main changes in the 7.0 Legion pre-patch. So right at the top, they've got a guide on what's going to be changing as soon as pre-patch hits. They've got a guide on what's happening in July, in the month of July. So we know we've got the Dark Moon Fair. We've also got a couple of world events and weekly bonus events. Legion Comic Magni released. They explain the in-game reward system, that Titan Forge upgrades. It's still Battleground bonus week this week. More Legion beta keys being given away. All of that over at Icy Veins. And then if we go back to Wowhead, we can look on the side and see for today in Draenor, Saturday, our Apexis Quest, our Lost Vale Anzu, and the Pit. The bounties on Trimmer, the Critters of Daymore, Nicodemus, Brisby, and Jenner. That's the Traveling Pet Tamer. Those three critters. The dungeon quest is Everbloom, the Inn, the Tavern, Bud's Gambit in Iron Docks, Ogre Ancestry, and Bloodmaw Slag Mines. In the Menagerie, we've got Cromley and Gromley. Those are your two Ogrons, I think. Some dust is what the Profession Trader's looking for. The Infected Orc is your treasure contract. Your oil dailies and your rep dailies, your traders, Portanus and Tai Tassi. They're looking for beast hides in the trading post. Again, Midsummer Fire Festival for a couple more days. If you need those achievements, you need those mounts, pets, toys, pick up those fire flowers. Midsummer Fire Festival for the next few days. Battleground bonus event still going on. And if we check in game, we can see where our shop has the current price of the WoW token. current price of the WoW token. 20 bucks will get you $42,347 today. 20 bucks, 42,000, whatever I just said. So 347. So a little up from when WoW had it. So again, what the heck? Keep up with Neall, keep up with Neall, keep up with Neall in all the ways. If you want to keep up with Neall, a good right way to keep up with Neall's Twitch TV. The Nealls, we are streaming live to the internet right now. The links below my Twitch channels will link you to all the other places you can keep up with me. My Facebook page, my Twitter page, my Open Raid group, the Guild website, YouTube channel, and my Patreon page are all linked below the channel. I'm on Facebook, Neall on Medivh. I friend back. Send me a friend request, I will friend you back. I'm on Twitter at the Nealls. I follow back. If you're not a spam person, I get a lot of spam requests. Not sure what that's about. I'm also on Open Raid, openraid.zergid.com. I have a group there called Achieve More. You can join the Achieve More group and achieve more in the World of Warcraft. Lots of people doing lots of things in the Achieve More group today. My only other event today is Mythic High Mall. Mythic High Mall starts at 3 in about an hour and 15 minutes. We did dungeons this morning, got all but one of the dungeon achievements this morning. But we had some trouble with What's Your Sign. We didn't kill her quickly enough. What's Your Sign messed us up this morning. And I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook, but I'm also on YouTube. YouTube/channel/ a whole bunch of gobbledygook. The link underneath the Twitch channel is the best way to get there. Or search for Neall on Medivh. This is where the Good Morning Azeroth and my guides go, including Glory of the Hellfire Raider, Draenor Hero, and soon you will see Thundering Raider and Pandaria Raider. That's at the YouTube site. Questions and answers. Haven't seen a lot of questions come in this week. The question we've been asking is, should Neall move this to a 2-mic setup? Should we have a co-host for Good Morning Azeroth? Some people have volunteered for Neall to do that. He's got to set a regular time. You're seeing we're recording this 1:45 Central Time in the afternoon on Saturday. So I need to get a regular time so that we could call in some co-hosts. If we're going to make that happen, if you think that's a good idea, give me some feedback. If you've got questions for Neall, one question we had this week was, should I buy WoW? I did suggest that they do. Go ahead and buy WoW at $19.99 or whatever the current cost of the game. You get all of the expansions through Warlords. You can level up right now to 100, experience all the stuff in Warlords, and get ready for Legion, which will drop in 8 weeks. That is the extent of the questions I have seen. Well, I'll take that back. Someone else asked me, didn't ask me, but I did mention today something I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Simple Armory, simplearmory.com. If you need some help tracking the pets and the mounts that you have, if you go to simplearmory.com and enter your name and realm, and then go to this collectible tab, it will show you all the mounts that you have collected, and maybe more importantly than that, give you little spots showing the mounts you have not collected. And if you hover over them, it'll tell you what the mount is, and if you click on it, it's a link to how to go pick up that mount. So this helped me figure out some rep mounts that I had not yet picked up, and I'm now working. I've picked up all of the mounts in Classic, picked up all the mounts in the Burning Crusade, and am now working on my Northrend mounts. I still need Memron's Head and Invincible, the Time Lost Proto-Drake, and the White Polar Bear. And then I'm out of Wrath, and then move into Cataclysm and start working on the Cataclysm mounts with more focus. So simplearmory.com, a great resource if you have not found that yet. So again, all of these shows, all of these programs are brought to you by patreon.com, the Nealls, patreon.com, the Nealls, the patrons over there, Regnava, Neall, Zuki, Adafluzi, Tender, Mulvashigan, Morasha, Mystical. Thanks for being patrons. Thanks for helping Neall help other people earn more achievements. And that's going to end the weekend edition. Thanks for joining. Y'all have fun storming the castle. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your July 4th weekend. Have a great one.